So what am I doing this morning? I'm actually having some time to do my own stuff for a change, because I haven't really had any time to do any raiding. There's been so much going on. So I'm looking at the S-sets here, and I've stuck a DOS crew on just quickly, just to see how I'm getting on with the 104s. So I did a quick run through on the 106s, but that was obviously with a bullseye brigade. So I stacked up, I think, 5 or 6 of those. And so now I need just to get rid of the 104s, and then I'll be banking up some coin, some points for hopefully not a huge returning coin, but we'll soon see. So far, it's looking reasonably, because once you get rid of the ships, the rest of the damage is reasonable. But we'll play it by ear. I wouldn't say I'm going the most ergonomic way of doing this. I might turn the macro on a minute and use the auto turn function that I created, because I'm lazy, to be honest. So I'm just bull rushing the rhinos, as you can see, and relying on the crew, which, is what you're gonna have to do to do these S targets. So same old trick as ever with these Apollos. And we were talking about those that managed to catch the show last night, that we did the open mic. It was good, actually. We had a full panel last night. And if you're not doing the mega ship, as in your own, the Hyperion and that sort of stuff, the question was asked, which I thought was quite interesting, is what the hell are you going to do with these Apollos now? Because apart from hitting these things, what else are you going to do with the darn things? They're no good for anything else. Some people say, oh yeah, I'll refit them and put launchers on, that sort of stuff. Well, we've got launcher ships. They're a missile hull. They're designed for that sort of stuff. But they've not got the right inbuilt defences to do anything but what it's doing now, to be honest. And no one goes out on the sea these days and does PV, FVF fighting and that sort of stuff. You're not just going to all of a sudden pick up your Apollos and go, oh, let's go and have some battles, because it's just never going to happen. Games moved on from there. There's too much content that you have to do, that you haven't really got time to do anything that's off your own back and your own bit of fun. So what the hell are we going to do with these ships? I can't even imagine. Which, for anybody that's just spent 4 months getting them and then building them, so I've said a couple of times, I picked these up in the very first raid, and I've had them some time now. Now let's pull. PK, he was on there. He's not on the open mic as well. Right, there we go. So quarter damage for a 104. Let's see what that comes out. I'm not running any, like I say, I'm running the DOS crew, but I'm not running anything else. I'm not going back to my base to start messing about with freaking grease monkeys and that sort of stuff. I really can't be bothered, it just takes too much time. So what have we got there? 109. He says I'm not going back to my base. Oh, well, 9 minutes. Well, what I could have done was just done another one, I suppose. So if I can get them 2 coins, that's reasonable. Just flicking around some of the, I bookmarked loads of the bases, so I can find these helps quite quickly. Yeah, morning buddy, how are you? You alright? Yeah, it's the Zoe on the front. Yeah, I've so like I said, these Apollos, I had these built since the very first opportunity we got to get them. I did collect them, and a lot of people didn't. They got the, I think it's the base ship or whatever else was available. I can't remember what it was, to be honest. So these were done and built, and in all honesty, we've had a good range of monthly FM tokens, that sort of stuff. I'm right up to speed with my FM, so I've been gaining loads and loads of tokens, that sort of stuff. So last month, I decided to get this last raid. I decided to build this, so I built it over the month. It's only a tank, the first one. Just so you can see the leader. There you go. It's just got impact cannons on it and a couple of Harrier missiles and some Phalanx 4s. That's all that's on it, to be honest. So I built it quickly and because something just said to me when they said that targets were going to change, and they did say 3 or 4 weeks ago they were going to change or do something with the targets. I'm not a trusting individual when it comes to Kicksai. I enjoy the game immensely, but I don't really enjoy the company as such. So I thought, well, I'll take a plunge. I wasn't building anything else. I had nothing else to build, so yeah, everything's at R15, by the way, because I'm a great believer, and then you have to sort of get on a mobile phone and quickly log on via one of the small apps that you can get. I'll keep my retrofit going all the time. So there's nothing on my ships that aren't R15. Everything is. So unlike Liam's fleet, and he's got, obviously now he's using switchblades, and in the 106 is the extra damage from those cannons is coming in as corrosive. I'm actually just running normal blade missiles. So, but I've got the bonus from the Zoe right at the front, which is countering some of that for me. So I've turned out to be quite fortunate. But as I was saying, it's almost like you've got to have it as a disposable fleet now, because what the hell are you going to do with these ships? Unless they change something in the targets later on, if you're not doing, a Hyperion, and you're not going down that mega ship thing yourselves, I can't imagine what the hell we're going to do with Apollos from Thursday onwards. They're just going to sit now in your dock doing nothing. Which for someone like myself, I can sort of stomach it, because it's gained me to get the new ship piece. I've got my Harlock Citadel built, that was done as well. So it's got me some stuff that, at this level, other people don't have, and that's what it's all about. It's about getting the upper hand and getting the advantage. So they've done their job for me. But for those individuals that have just literally finished building and thought, this is my first raid, I'm going to actually be able to do something decent with these, that's a massive investment for one raid, either in time or money. Don't know which way you look at it. And that's probably a little bit galling, I don't know. Or maybe they just think, well, I may as well start doing this Hyperion thing because I've got nothing else to do with them. I don't know. Don't know, what do you think? Blimey, Dio, flipping out. Hello, bud. Never seem to drive very well on a Sunday morning. I don't know what it is. So these 104s I'm doing, I'm just playing catch up at the moment. And obviously the good thing about this crew is it lasts an hour and a half. Then obviously you've got to get the money's worth out of it, because as opposed to Bourgeois Brigade that's only 40 minutes long, this one's an hour and a half. So you need to make sure you get your money's worth out of it. And what I like about the DOS crew over anything is that it's all defences. All defences are buffed, aren't they? So you're actually getting a bit of a buff on every aspect of the damage that's in these targets. There's those goddamn corrosive cannons firing at it. Which is a heavy corrosive cannon as well, so that's why we don't have it. It's a dynamic that they put in for themselves. We don't have anything like it, and we probably will never get it. I don't know how long I'm going to do this stream for. I just thought while I'm playing, and doing it in my own time for a change. I'll just stick it on, and if everybody's interested, you can have a look. If you've got any questions about anything, feel free. I'm glancing across at the other screen while I'm doing this, so. Question number 1. What do you think of the new submarine? I'm hoping it'll be fun. Be cautious, obviously, because there's a special coming out in the FM that's going to be made typical Kickside style. Build the sub now. Those that are really keen and conscious and that sort of stuff and want to get ahead and have the, oh look what I've got moments. They've already built theirs. They're out on the sea and they're doing things with them. To be honest, there's very little you can do with them right now because the targets aren't there for them unless they want to start getting rank. To be honest, like I said, there's a new special coming out, so which is all about stealth, isn't it? It's going to be stealth dive time, including stealth detection as well. But as it's going to be a combo special, what we're going to have to look at is the weight and the buffs, because I've got a sneaky feeling that the buffs will be down on the individuals. There's logic in that, or the weight will be up because you're taking advantage of 2 items in one special. I don't think it'd be, I think it's 25% total fleet weight. I think it is for battery 3, and I think it's something like 15%, something like that for Caterpillar Drive 3 or something like that. Without looking, I'm not exactly sure, but doesn't mean the new special is going to be 45%, but it may be 30, 35 or something like that. And if it is, that's a consideration that everyone's going to put forward. Right, well that's probably not the best of driving. That's probably going to be 3 coins. There you go. Proves that texting or chatting while you're driving doesn't help your driving skills. Oops, I'm going to get fired on here. Oh, there you go, that's I'll dive first. Yeah. I'm going to turn on this macro in a minute, sorry, but it's going to click into the mail. Okay, there we go. Well, you built 3 already, have you? Alright. Oh, you've got 2, mate. 2 on the water with 3 torps, I see. How are you finding them? I might redeem some prizes, but I have no idea what to redeem, to be honest. I haven't really been looking. Well, obviously, I've already got some bits and bobs as well, because I did do a bit. I was autoing A sets while I was doing stuff on the TFC, so I've got that. I've got the key bits here, so I've got that, and I've got that as well. I quite like this selection system, although people don't understand what complementary means. Some people, unfortunately, they think it means it comes with it. You get the whole, and you get all these extras with it. Well, that's definitely not the case. It means it's designed to go with it. Right up to the point though when you go into the more prizes, and I think someone said down here they were picking up a ship or something. Where is it? There was a ship that was available and they recommended to put on it was I can't think what it was now, which I thought was quite amusing. Well, anyway, whichever ship it was, they recommended that the explosive armor was recommended to go on it, and it doesn't actually fit. But there we go. Right, okay. What was the damage on that? Yeah, okay. So just quickly, if you wouldn't just pause a second, I'm just going to open this up. So this is my macro that I use. So I use Macro Mouse Recorder, basically, for those that haven't seen the macro stream that I've done. So this one here, if I go into edit, it should Oops, there we go. I'm running two screens, so it pumps off sometimes. So this one here basically is I still need to be here and controlling the ship, so I'm doing nothing wrong. You know, I've like I said people before, I've run this through Kickstarter and they've approved this, so it's not an issue. But this one here, basically, by turning on this macro, it does your key selection for you. So it selects both 1 through to 5. You can program them as you see fit, and it does your left mouse button click for you. So instead of you having to do mouse clicks, you don't have to do anything, to be honest. You start it, you stop it, but you still got to be here. If you don't control the thing with your mouse, you're still going to end up dying, or it's just going to sit there doing nothing. So I'm not. It's not an automatic system. I'm not doing anything on auto and that sort of stuff. All I'm doing is saving myself pushing one key. So it's a bit like the arrow up key, what kicks he produces as well. And for me personally, then configuration of this one here, to turn it on, I have to press Control plus F2, and then to turn it off, I press Control and F3. So there you go, and it's on repeat as well. So until I press Control F3, it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. So we'll just leave that on. That's it. Just sits in the background now. It does nothing at all. So what I need to do now is find another 104, which I'll find somewhere. There's one there. Look. So let's go and have a look at this one. Ooh. Anything closer? 2 seconds. Like the one here. Closer. Remember the old days when we used to have portals and that sort of stuff? It used to take us like 30 minutes just to go and find a target. Back in the Blackwater days, I know plenty of people have seen that. 114 million Phoenix make. Oh no, he said, well done, that's impressive, isn't it? That's dedication. So 114 million, how long is that taking you sitting down to do that? Quite a lot of my guys are doing the A-sets, I have to say, in my alliance. But I just, fortunately I've had some crews, so I'm just not sitting down. So here we go. Well, we'll have a quick look at this then. So this macro here, I mean, not that it's going to really be obvious to you, but I'm going to press and turn on the macro now, which is, and there you go. You see it starts flashing. That's the only way you can tell, and it's basically it's cycling through automatically by itself. So I can now just stop mouse clicking myself, and when you start doing the mega ships, it's easier. So now wherever I point the mouse, which is why I leave the trail guide on it, so I know where I'm sending the ships. There you go, that's more small. For me, I prefer it. So wherever I point my mouse now, the boats automatically turn. And my hands are off the keyboards, I'm not doing anything at all. For me, it's just an easy way of playing. And I think this is, if anybody's got, you know, not that it's a clinical program, but anybody's got, you know, difficulty with hand injuries or that sort of stuff, or arthritis and things like that. Older, you know, some older players, or well, not necessarily older, because anybody can get arthritis, but generally it's older people. You know, this is a great aid. It means you can also become part of the community and actually still control your ships with full, you know, full control. Like I say, I'm not promoting any particular program. I choose this one because it just works for me. It works for Windows 10, which is what I was on. I only used to use this program when I was on Windows 7, but the program I did use before doesn't work on Windows 10, so I had to switch. This is a paid-for program. It cost me about $20, but there are plenty of free ones out there. And I've in one of my previous streams, I've gone through 5 different programs and telling people how to operate each one. Yeah, so it's interesting. This is the first raid that's taken people back to almost like the older way of doing it. If you want to do well, you're going to have to sit down and actually spend some time. Problem is, a lot of people haven't got the time, or no, maybe that's not right. Maybe a lot of people just don't want to commit that time as they used to. Because I can remember back, blimey, when we had the prizes were the battleship was a prize, believe it or not, if everybody even got those these days, and well, in fact the HHA and HHB, they were prizes. as was the first Dreadnought. That was the one I won. Where you had to be the top person in your sector, or one of the top. Yeah, you had to be the top player in your sector. And there was a secondary prize, which was the top 3 would get something. Now that was a battle. That was a bit of a kudos to win that, But the game's changed since then. You won that because it had, it meant something. And maybe it still does. I don't know. If you're only 1 people after the raid, 1 of 3 people, or 1 of 1, or whatever it was, let's get through there, that had a ship that nobody else in that sector did, then you were king for a month at least. But they changed the game format considerably. Well, they changed the game format considerably with 2 things. One, the alliance feature came in. For me, that changed it beyond all recognition. And then the worst thing, I honestly feel, the worst thing they did was actually bringing co-op targets, because the expectation management of everybody went up. And then when you set somebody up in a position where they can gain stuff, but in all honesty, some of the things people aren't ready for, then you're stuck in a predicament. Well, what do? You can't turn that feature off, because once you've given somebody access to the vault, how do you tend to take that key away from them? So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place in my mind. And it's very difficult to then set people up to say, well, you're not in charge of this because you're not good enough, because you just turn off the community that actually is aspiring to be as good as the people at the top end, because that's the whole very nature of it. Because even the people at the top end end up leaving the game, and that's just what a big percentage do, for various different reasons, life changes, etc., etc. But if you don't bring the people through, they are the future, aren't they? They're the top end. It's a bit like your own kids. It's the same thing. Everyone's going to expire eventually, and it's the same in the game. Proto Hunter as a prize. I'll tell you about the prize list. Okay, several people. I'm quite happy to say this. Several people were actually asked on what they think should have been put in the prize list, and obviously Kixie had their own ideas on what should be put in the prize list. Some of the items that are in the prize list, they're not at all need to haves, but they're nice to haves. And one of the things that was nice to have was that exact hull you just discussed there. A lot of people missed it. Do you need it is the question. I'm always asking my alliance, what are you building and why are you building it? Oh, I'm building this. Well, do you need it or do you want it? And there's a big difference, because the game, the way it is now, the content and the fluidity of the game, if you aren't building what you need and you're just building what you want, you're going to come unstuck, without a doubt. So to me, the Proto Hunter, whilst it's a really nice hull, I've actually never built one myself because I've never found the need, and I'm not going to build one. I might get a couple, but unless something drastically changes, the game goes in a certain direction, I've got other hulls that could probably do just as well. But that's me. If you've got nothing with that sort of thermal range that can actually go out and hunt down some submarines, then you might want to. But personally, the Saga's Punisher is what I'm going to pick up, because for the same cost, it's a niche market hull that may be required later in the game. I don't know. But for me, I don't need the Protos, because I can do it another way. So if you've got nothing, they're quick, aren't they? Not nothing as quick as Apollos, but it's a niche market, so it's up to you. I'm not going to tell anybody to pick or not pick a certain hull, because ultimately I'm not playing their game for them, and I don't know what you've already got, so it's difficult. We don't say for a bit. It's really group is a bit messy, aren't they? There are some prizes in there. The electronic countermeasure hull at 40 million points. Why is that in there? Well, because people just like trophies. I had that. I was one of the 3,000 that won it the very first time. By God, did that take a fight to win that? To stay in the top 3,000 people to get that hull. that was a challenge and a half, you know. And do you know what? If they want to bring that sort of thing back periodically, once every 6 months, where actually there's a hull and only the top 3,000 people could get it. You know, you want revenue, Kixie? There's a way to get revenue. Or LBs in, or my alliance. Don't do it all the time, but just do it as a one-off, a special or something. Right? There are ways to make money. You know, a 24-hour campaign that you can start. Why did I just do that? Chatting, that's why. I'm going to get another shot at me now. Here we go. Yeah, I thought so. Oh well. You know, a campaign that runs for 24 hours of TLC, but actually you get 2 hours to complete the campaign, and the top 3,000 people, top 3,000 scores get something from it. That's a way to generate some cash if they want to do it that way. You know, don't make it cost a lot. Make it cost £3 to enter or something like that. You know, you've got to rank up with some certain coins. Have a go at it, and then from that you get something. I don't know what you could get. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me if you just get a skin or something. But it's fun content. It's a fun thing. It's a bit like the gunboat challenge. I think it is. You know, do you remember the was it Christmas they did it? The super gunboat. That was hysterical fun. You know, it cost nothing to go in, that sort of stuff. But you know, to go in that, they could have just charged everybody £1 each, you know, or $1 each or something like that. And they'd have got some revenue out of that, because they must have put some money and time and effort into building that game. Game in a game, you know. So if you know, which means the overall game could be cheaper, couldn't it? I see 3 million points. I have no idea what I'm going to do yet, but I just want to. Am I? All right. So I've leveled off a second. How was that? Is that still 3 coins? Oh, seeing I'm not. Well, actually, I don't know if I'm on the crew. 47 minutes. I'll go back to my base and knock off those 9 minutes, and then we'll look at maybe some prizes and that sort of stuff while we're doing that. There's not many people out hitting at the moment, is there? I suppose the question is anybody else hitting the mega holes? The S sets. Let's have a quick look around. Certainly haven't seen anybody. Maybe people have run out of crews by now, because if you haven't got crews, you ain't going to be doing it, are you? Ooh, bit of game lag there. It's coming up. Oh, well. Oh, it was there. No, it's on there. Darren, mate, I'm in 400. That's where I am. It's sort of it's a really busy sector, though, I have to say. So you do get a bit of lag. I mean, but it is absolutely stacked with people. But it's always busy. I'm always around in 400 with my alliance. I've got 3 or 4 other alliances here that we get on really well with, that sort of stuff. And our goal is just to keep the sector in orange all the time. You know, one of our goals, should I say. So I'm going to take, you know, it's a trade-off, isn't there? 46 minutes on that crew there. But you know, if I was to just quickly look here and just show the crews I've got, look, I've got a few of the darn things. I've just been saving them up over the last period of time because I didn't need them in the last raid. I didn't run any crews last time at all. You know, I mean, these old things, I just, you know, if they're there, I'll grab them. But so I'm ready for the XP weekend already and that sort of stuff. So I've got some reasonable crews, nothing, you know, super special and that sort of stuff. But yeah, so I'm in 400 at the moment. Which is a good sector. It has a good bit of banter. Right. Like I said, I've already picked up that, and I haven't a revenge and that sort of stuff. So let me just have a look at this saga thing it's got here. Well, I've already got that, and I've already got that, and I've already got that. So I'm just going to pick this up and may as well. If I ever build it, I'll be surprised. But you never know. You might need it. So let's have a quick look down here. Oh, that's something I never bothered getting last time. Probably never. Yeah, the only thing is it just cuts your weapons range by 50%, doesn't it? Which is quite frustrating. In the old days, we used to build, I used to see people build those. Used to drive into you and then just blow them up. Used to do 10,000 damage, but 10,000 damage these days with all the bypass, and that's explosive damage if I remember rightly. Yeah, explosive ship that destroyed this explosive skill, which is great when we've got some gunboats, you know, because that's free. You can just go in and keep pepping away at some targets. I've seen people do that, where, you know, there's an idea for a raid, isn't it? Chuck the infernal core on some gunboats or something that will last a bit longer, or some instant fix ships, you know, and then just go in and keep blowing them up. 10,000 explosive each time. But I'm not going to bother with doing that sort of stuff. I'll keep plugging away, mate. We'll go back out and we'll do some more targets, because I set myself up a certain amount of. I suppose what to look at shards is the thing, isn't it? To be honest, I've forgotten here. I've already picked up the. Yeah, I've already got the Ghost Crawler shards. Oh, and the Man of War shards. Well, I'm running out of things to pick up. That's the problem. Do I want a Proto Nemesis? It's had its day, to be honest. There you go. There's a prototype hunter. And as you can see there, a lot of people are going, well, it's only 10,000 of that ship. No, it's obviously 50,000 if you want all 5. But actually, what you want is 4, isn't it? And then you obviously want the lead version, the Saga one as well, to go with it, because it gives you all the buffs as well for the fleet. So that's not been on offer either. So, you know, whilst it is a good hull, and I see people putting the bases there, the base defender. I mean, it's got. Where's the? So thermal's 85, which is one of the best, isn't it? You know, it's an excellent thermal range. But you know, it's no stronger, I wouldn't say, than a Frosty, and you can have, you know, a couple of Frosties now if you wanted to in your fleet. So it's a swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Okay, let's go back and have a quick look. So what we'll do is we'll probably hit 106 next, I think, to be honest. Yeah, Sector 1. I've visited Sector 1 many times. I quite like Sector 1. There's some good old boys in Sector 1 from the old days. And I know a lot of people go back there to raid as well. It's just like one of those go-to sectors as well. Which is 400 becoming that way as well. We get a lot of people come here for the raid as well. Which is good, because everybody goes out, does the business, come back, and there's some real good chat that goes on as well. An 86 to 36 mixed damage. Well, that's okay. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll run through a couple of sets, because, yeah, mind you, I think on an A set running this crew is a bit pointless, but we can do the A set. I don't mind. But getting to the end of my raid, so I'm not that bothered about what I hit now. It's more entertainment than anything else. What I do when I'm completely finished, I'll then just go and help my own alliance out and prep some of the targets for them. I might even prep some S sets. Right, let's have a look at an 86 then, shall we? 3 Apollos and no crew. Well done. Hey, that is good. That's quite impressive. Good thing about using this macro, don't forget as well, you can use up the front end, which makes life a lot easier. You can change that macro just to control ships 2, 3, 4 and 5. So you put a Savage Kodiak at the front and then drop it into the bottom corner, which gives you the 50% buff, doesn't it, and 50% reload for penetrative, which is quite handy. So you can run, you know, even if you've got 3 Apollos there, as you said, Darren, you can put the Savage Kodiak on it on the front end, tuck it in the corner, and then just carry on hitting. And it'll give you that penetrative buff and that reload. Right, I'll turn this macro on. So 1.8 set, that's really good, you know, because that's fine. Because it depends on obviously what level you are, depends on what buff you get from the A-sets, but that's acceptable. That's, as I always keep saying on all shows, I think the general population are quite happy with spending 1 coin per million, you know, or thereabouts. And if it's not 1 coin per million, then obviously, you know, that's per million points, that's half our fixed time in raid time, which I think is perfectly acceptable. Level 89, alright. That's good level. So you're probably doing alright. Yeah, so you're in an alliance, are you? Or... Ah, so you're also British. Like me. 13 quid. Because it's all about entertainment, isn't it? I mean, that's the whole idea of it. It's a game, not a job. It's a game. So it's you know, outlay versus enjoyment, which is sometimes somebody at Kixie, I think, seems to forget that. If it ain't fun, what are you doing it for? Okay. Some people see it as an investment because by investing the time and taking some pain now, they can have their fun by getting one-upmanship later on and doing other people over, bragging about it, whatever they want to do, because it's an egotistical game, isn't it? Without a doubt. The very nature, the way it's made up, entices people to either gang up against each other using alliances, you know, or pick on somebody that's a little bit of the underdog because you've got something better than they've got, and you know, whether it be a base or whether it be a fleet that you're about to attack, you know your own confidences and your own areas. No one goes into a battle with a fleet if they already know they're going to lose, because all that's going to cost you is fixed time and repair. But the battles I like is like the arena battles, is when you go into the battle and you really don't know what you're facing. So that makes you think about what you're building. Looking for a good alliance. There's plenty of alliances out there, buddy. Absolutely loads, you know. There's some really good alliances and that stuff. I mean, you know, we were on the show last night on the open mic, and you know, I don't think more than 2 were from the same alliance on there. And the consensus was all the same. Everyone was generally talking about, you know, the positives in the game and that sort of stuff. Overall, the frustration of this particular raid, but the positives and the enjoyment they still get out of it and that sort of stuff, especially some of the long-term players and their motivations for why they're in and that sort of stuff. So. Yeah, I know. TCZE, yeah. I'd never join him. Leader's a nightmare. He's an arsehole. I don't know if anybody knows him. He's a right dick. All he worries about is hair products. Lucy's a noob. Oh dear. Lucy's Lucy. Bless her. She's funny. The stick he gives Lucy. My God. I don't know how she puts up with it. I mean, it's banter, we know it. But blimmin' heck. She's a patient girl. So you're on the game 7 days a week, mate, which is basically what you're saying is you're addicted. The thing is, if you're not on, you're never going to get to the top. It's just not possible. So while I'm just messing around with this 86, which looks, you know, the thing with the trade-off with the damage is, I mean, every target comes with a limited amount of damage, doesn't it? So, you know, even though this is an 86 and it's not even an S target, it's still giving me damage because there's a minimum damage set, because that's what's built into the targets. So that's still going to give me a, you know, There you go, 11 minutes worth of damage. Well, I'm so not going to fix that. I'll just keep going until I've got something that's worth putting a coin on for it. I was just going to mention something then. I should be able to view the whole of this this target and just without moving. There we go. Yeah, that's going alright. You notice these oil fields, by the way. So we noticed that actually you take corrosive damage if you drive through them. They do speed you up, but it's not just an oil slick. It actually causes damage, so do keep away from the darn things. I've seen people sit in them and just go, oh, that's you know, I've blown it up now. I mean, it's a bit late probably to discuss that now because obviously the raid format is virtually finished. But if you sit in those fields, you can see it's got a slightly yellowy sort of patch on it, and that's the corrosive effect. To try and tell someone that to them the other day, they were like, "Oh, it's all good. I've killed it." I went, "No, you haven't killed it, mate. You destroyed the target, and what you left behind is a blinking corrosive radioactive field." Which is why when you drive through it, you'll see that your ships get that the arrows that I'm getting from my field effect from my Zoe Rhino change from the bluey yellow colour to orange, which means you're taking incoming. So we'll do this last little mess about here on the just mucking about on an egg set quickly, and then we'll what we'll do is we'll switch over to some S targets. The problem with the S targets, there's just more of it. That's all there is. Not, you know, and the damage buff is higher. They're not harder. I wouldn't say they're any harder whatsoever. You know, this don't take any longer. They just got more damage. There we go. So there's an 80. We'll turn that macro off. I can just go back to normality. So we had 11 minutes damage on the last one. So like I said, there's always a minimum damage threshold. So when we get in there, but now we're at 40. So 3 minutes. So that would have been an instant fix, wouldn't it? Straight away. I could have just fixed that on the C if I wanted to. Right, okay, so we're looking for an 83, aren't we? And that'll finish this set off, and then we'll go back to some S targets. But you can see from this sector, it's absolutely crammed full of people. This is, I mean, no, yes, the targets are out there, but this is a very, very busy sector. There are bases everywhere. There's no, there's hardly any space whatsoever. Just Speed them up a little bit. That's it. I'll just give a couple of turns, get them all firing up at the same speed. So we've got a couple of people there in the stream watching. What do you think the next prize will be for the next raid? So we've got a sub. It's Reaver. What do you think is coming? A Reaver attack ship. Bear in mind the multipliers have dropped down to 100%. We've taken off the 150 or the 125 is what they had. So what do you think we've got coming in the next raid? If we get a base attack Reaver ship. And why is the chair called Hellhound in the prize pool? Is it because someone just thought it was nice and that was their idea to put that in? Because it's obviously a flagship. Oh, we haven't got many flagships. Yeah, I'm thinking a Reaver base here. Because we don't. I mean, what else do we need a ship for? What about a Reaver defense hull? But basically, as you hit it, it gives a buff to the rest of your defense fleet. Retribution, yeah. Retribution's an unusual hull. It's come out completely different. I didn't do that campaign, I have to say. I was too busy, and I didn't feel the need for my gameplay to actually require that hull for me to do what. Like I said, my opinion is, you win what you need, you don't win what you want. Unless you've got nothing you need, and then you just go out and get some if you fancy it. Which is why I got the Zoe's Rhino. The Zoe's Apollo, because and built it because I had nothing else to do at the time. And it's a bit of a shame with the Retribution. Same sort of, I think, clearly if you've got nothing, you need those sort of hulls. But I've got things that I was content using, so. And I'm, as I keep saying many times, I'm not a massive fan of PvP. Well, I am, but it's just goddamn expensive. Okay, so that's the last one of that A set done. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That Retribution can certainly have fun, which is good. That extra range is helpful. $16 million points. Okay. I'll look for damage now. Well, I'm not going to fix that. Okay, let's go back and find a 106. Sorry, yeah. Let's see how the DOS crew does in that. A UAV hull. Do you know what? Rakin, I don't know if you saw that show, but Rakin sort of hinted that a UAV hull would be coming in. Or it might be coming. Not that it is coming in, because you never. I think this one's a bit closer actually. It is. There's a 106 there. There's two 106s. In fact, what I could do. I might just might prep this actually. And do it as a prep rather than a hit. So I'll just Toby's one of the lads in my alliance. He's a non-coin. I've token non-coin, that sort of stuff. Anything will do. So let's see if we can prep out a 106, which we should be able to, because what I was leaving last time, just have a look at that. See up there, then you've got the shipyard. So with a bit of luck, I'll be able to leave that for him, but we'll see. Because if I can take the points, which I'm getting to the stage where I don't really need that many points now, I've virtually finished my raid, and he can take the bonus, which, as we know, is 5 million for both targets. Here they come, you can blooming fast old things. Oh, forgot these were quicker. I have to change my tactic. Okay. So I'll do what I did in that last stream. We'll do that. We'll spin round. We'll outrun that one just about. Well, not quite outrun it, but we'll outrun it before it does its biggest damage. Come up. We'll trigger this one. One, two, three. He got a 3 volleys. Okay, interesting. So bear in mind, it was always 22 minutes damage, wasn't I, on this ship? So I tend to, with these HCs, is get them stuck behind the land if I can, so they're not scattergunning me to death. And there you go. That's not too bad. Pick off that Zoe. Trigger this one here. You see, hit them at 90 degrees, and they haven't got time to come in and do too much damage to you. Now I've got to watch now because there's one coming from the south and one coming up from the north. So let's turn now. Kill that one, and then turn north and kill the rhino. And this is where the old mouse control comes in really handy. Pick up that one there. They turn much quicker, these ones, than the 106s. Oh, I'm going to get splattergunned because I was a bit late there. Pick up that rhino, go back around. That'll die by the time I turn. Now I've got 3 of the little tinkers coming down, so we need to spin around and do what we can about outrunning these. There's the first one, second one. I'll let that one catch up a little bit. I'll just go in a bit and then turn down again. Spin back up again. Pick up that Zoe. That damage is quite reasonable so far. Okay, so what I've got to take care is I've got 2 ships now firing me at the same time, so just watch my damage. Just might as well just get rid of these ships, and then you're careful with the mega hulls so you don't trigger off the overload. The turrets are just the turrets. Okay, let's move this about a little bit. Let's start the next stage then. I'll pick off these turrets, I think. So let's get some of these turrets out of the way now. So we're going to sneak up and trigger this one here and try and get it before it gets me. There we go. Ah, left a little bit on it, so let's just slow down for him. Right, so we've got a fast ship coming in there. We have to be careful now, so we'll take a bit of damage from this one. But I've got 2 coming in from the top, so If you get overrun by HCs, by the way, charge them, because they have a minimum fire range, and you can fire at much closer range than what they can. So actually, if you get in really, really close, they can't fire. That's the other thing. I'll show you on this one here. Look. They'll try backing away. There, he's turning now because he can't fire, so you can just chase them down. So if you do feel as you're getting overrun, sit on top of them, and it stops them firing. Even that scattergun corrosive weapon stops working. I don't know if everybody's aware of that. I can't hate it. Right, so what I don't want to do is make too much mess of this. Doing okay at the moment. Bear in mind we were 22 minutes damage at the start, so this is where I like using this this capability of kiting and cycling around. This is what's good with the Apollos. So you try it on the one that doesn't have a red circle, damage one, and then move up to the one that does, and then there you go. You can skip in and out of the red ring, which means you're not triggering the overload, but you're still keeping your Apollos moving. Okay, so then we'll go down. We'll look at the other island, and we'll leave. Like I say, we'll leave that shipyard there, and that'll be ideal. Knock this other island out, and then we're done. I mean, you could leave the dock. There's a dock there as well, but that's a little bit more difficult to leave, to be honest. Now, if I had the time, I'd probably could have done my whole raid just running through some S sets using DOS crews. I probably only needed 3, to be honest. Because I could probably get through 6 sets with a DOS crew. 60 million, 3 DOS crews, 360. Yeah, that would have been 180 million. I don't even need 180 million. So what am I waiting there for? Let's just get rid of these turrets a second. Will we target the dock? I don't know, it might do. Anyway, I can leave the dock as well, I suppose, I know it's done now. The reason I leave the shipyard is obviously because it's out there in the open, and retargeting that is highly unlikely. There we go. So there you go, that's that mega ship prepped. So that's the top level target, the 106. Which I'll do that and I'll find a 104 and then it'll be good. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm on 2 screens. I'm just yeah. So I'm in sector 400 at the moment, which is generally sort of my home sector generally. Do the 104 next run, and you should get the bonus points then hopefully. So look at that repair. So I was 22 minutes damaged already. So 1 coin over. Well, I think I'll just do the 104 and then fix afterwards, to be honest. So 2 hours and a bit, wasn't it? Really 2 hours? What was that? 2 hours and 9 minutes, something like that. I think that's quite acceptable if you've got the cruise. Now, you know, whilst I got all the crews and that sort of stuff, and I've got all the toys and those sort of things, I get that. But you know, that's a good thing about being an alliance. I speak to the guys as well from the alliance that I sort of co-lead. and I ask them, how they're getting on, what's hard, what's not hard, that sort of stuff, and I base, feedback then to the TFC community off of their feedback to me. So it's vital that I get it right, because I don't want to offer bunkum advice, but I also see it from their perspective. So my goal is for this raid is to get as many people in my alliance. Obviously, the new submarine, the new torp is nice to have, but it's not an absolute must, believe it or not. Because if you've got a Charon torp, and I did a build just for a bit of fun myself, and the new sub with Charon torps on it is absolutely fine. It'll be a very strong submarine. The only thing you don't get obviously is the splash effect like you do with an Arblast, which is what the Twister gives you. I'm not careful, I'm going to get caught out here, so I need to do things slightly differently. So let me keep away from those HCs. Let's kill this rhino. Just thinking and talking at the same time. That's better. Okay. So you'll notice here that obviously the speed of the ships is considerably different in the two sets. I don't know if it's a given mechanic that they did it on purpose, or whether it's just the fact that they said, well, 106 is harder, so we've got to make them quicker. So for me, if I was starting afresh, and I was running these S sets, I would knock out probably 4 or 5 106s, and then go and do 4 and 5 of these 104s. Simply because, you have to keep changing your gameplay from slow moving ships to fast moving ships, and so it just takes a bit more of the thought. Personally, I'd rather keep to the same method of approach. And just keep running the same sets over and over. Okay, now as far as I'm concerned, this looks like already that I'm going to be able to do both of these with the one fleet. And bear in mind, I've already done an A set as well. And I have absolutely no issues with that amount of damage. I truly don't. I think that's a fair exchange. Ah, well, you came. Oh, okay. Well, we can discuss that. Every alliance runs differently. Now, my alliance, personally, okay. I just happen to be the figurehead. My alliance is a bit different to everybody else's. My alliance is basically a group of friends that have known each other for a long time. And we collectively allow people or not allow people into the alliance. My alliance was, at one stage, 87 members strong. And it's actually at 24 now, because running a big alliance is a huge commitment. People maybe don't understand that. It takes a lot to appease everybody. Not that I want not to appease people. I do that in my own job all the time. But you can't please all the people all the time. And if you don't know people, sometimes when you make a decision, they don't either understand or they don't agree with it. And to be honest, I really haven't got the time or the energy or the interest to argue with people. And then you're pressurizing people for getting ally points and all that sort of stuff. So my alliance is just a group of mates that just like mucking about. You know, we've got several people at level 100, several people, you know, I think our lowest levels, I think 60, something like that. But I don't put any pressure on anybody to do anything specific. We all know in our alliance that getting our alliance points at the start of the week makes the rest of the week much easier for us. We all understand that. But I don't think everybody has to go and get alliance points. So long as our alliance bar is up, the alliance bar is up. That's all that matters. As long as we get the buff that we're looking for. Particularly in raid week. I don't have to say anything to anybody because everybody knows it benefits everyone. We all help each other out. So if someone's struggling for a week, or someone's down a few coins, or something like that, or someone's life has changed, you know, we all get it because we know each other on Facebook anyway. It's not just the game. So, you know, we'll all pile in. Someone goes on holiday, we'll all help them out and that sort of stuff. You know, I've only got one day because I'm away for, you know, or I'm at work this week and I'm struggling. Everyone just chips in and gives each other a hand. So it's a bit more than just an alliance for me. I've known all the players, virtually all the players, for as long as I've been playing, I think, to be honest. Yeah, Kane, feel free to jump in, mate. I mean, you know, I don't mind, you know, and I'm not planning, I'll say that publicly, I'm not planning to grow the alliance. Okay. But if, you know, it's the same as anything. If somebody comes in to 400 and they're there for a little while and I quite like them, that sort of stuff, I like their personality. I don't really care about their game style. That really doesn't bother me too much. If I like their personality and I say to the guys, what do you think of this guy? You know, and they go, oh, I've spoken to quite a bit. He's quite a nice chap. Seems alright and that sort of stuff. He's level-headed. He's not a hothead and that stuff. I don't have any hotheads in my alliance at all. You know, I really can't be arsed with it. And yeah, then you know, we'll consider it. But I don't want the alliance to grow. You know, I've added about 2 people in a year. I think that's about it. Because I have enough to do at the moment with the TFE page. Second cancel page, sorry. It does take up quite a bit of time, surprisingly, which is good because it gives me another avenue to do something that's to do with the game, pass on a bit of information that I pick up, share the experiences of some of my other guys. No, I need to save something, don't I? I just thought about that. I should have saved the conning tower. Chatting, I forgot. I'll have to leave something for him. Let me have a look. What can I leave? I'm going to have to try and leave something. I'll think of that in a second. It's going to have to leave him a tower. What is easy enough to do? I won't be able to leave that dog, will I? Or will I? If I fire the right angle, I might be able to. See if I can. There you go. Here's a challenge. Yeah, it'll be interesting to try and leave that dog, won't it? Let's have a go, shall we? There's a challenge. A challenge within a challenge. Now, if I do this right, let's see, is that going to be enough, or have I killed the dog? Oh, get in there. Okay, that was fluke. That wasn't actually, yeah. That was pure bloody fluke, I have to say. No! I retargeted, didn't it? It's Sod's Law, isn't it? Well, you don't want things to retarget. Right, I'm going to have to play a bit careful here. Quite funny. Yeah, it was. It was really nice, up to a point. Right, I'm going to leave that half-battered turret. You can't write these things sometimes, can you? Don't kill that turret, you tinker. There we go. Alright. So I'm going to have to be really cautious here. And give him a bit of a turret. Not too much of a turret. There we go. That'll do. He's got a bit of something. That was quite funny. Where did he go? Is he sitting outside? So, you know, while they turn around and say you can't do co-op and that sort of stuff, you know, well, you can prep instead, can't you? Seems so far. He's there, isn't he? Seems to be getting some lag. Okay, so there's one turret left. Be interesting to see with a set of punishes how much damage that sensor. I'm getting a lag. How slow it's going. What I might do is watch him. Yeah, I think we will. I'm interested to see how much damage he's going to take. Where's he entered? He's over there. So he's built his punishes for his FM, obviously, which is our punisher fleet that we've put up on the TFC website. Just out of interest, I thought I'd mention it. In case you haven't noticed, we've put up an added link now as well. So we've added the Hellwraith submarine on the TFC website. Obviously, theforsakencancel.co.uk. And there's about 5 or 6 builds, I think there is on there from different players at the moment. And as we go along, we'll evaluate those sub builds, and as people develop, and the new special obviously comes in as well, which is coming in the FM, isn't it? We'll adjust those accordingly. Here we go. I'm just doing this. So let's see how much damage he takes. Oh, no, that's okay. So I'll check he got the bonus points. I think I might refresh my game. It's taking a considerable amount of time, isn't it? Right, so I'm going to go and fix that in slow time because I've got a minute left on that crew and I've got stuff to do. So, what's the total repair time, just out of interest? Oh, there you go, look, so that would have been, you know, bear in mind I had 22 minutes damage beforehand, and I took my time there, so there was no rush, you know. So that would have been under 8 coins, wouldn't it? And with a little bit better driving, it would have been fine, to be honest. So we recall that ship. And there it goes. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but it might have been. Stay tuned. I'm really not sure what's going to come up on Tuesday's show. As Liam was saying, I think that was a 5 million bonus for him. So. That's yeah, I'm not sure we're going to do on Tuesday's show, to be honest, because if we don't get a game update, yeah, you got it good. Oh, that's good. So you got the 5 million bonus. Just checking that, because otherwise there's no point doing any preps. Then so DOS crew, yeah, if you can get them, that's a DOS crew. So while the Bullseye Brigade is very good at knocking down, you know, all your bits and bobs and taking down the taking down the incoming missiles and that sort of stuff. You know, the DOS crew I find is better because you get the buff, the defensive buff on top of the fact that you can knock down the missiles and that sort of stuff. So, but bear in mind, it's a 3-star crew. I'm just very fortunate that I managed to save some up over the last few months, which I've just not needed. But you don't roll past a 3-star crew, do you? Yeah, I struck gold with that, to be honest. Yeah, so I'm going to end it there, guys. I'm going to say thanks for turning up. It's been a pleasure as ever, and I'll speak to you all, if not before, either on the stream on Tuesday, or if not, it will be sometime via the Facebook page or the TFC website. Take care.